What's up, guys? This is Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be breaking down why wide receivers will drop passes. Let's get started. Now, before we get into this video, fellas, if you're a wide receiver and you would like a daily gym and on-field workout schedule to follow with over 500 plus wide receiver drills and gym exercises all mapped out for you with the exact sets and reps to do, check out that very first link in the description below for our 8-week-long schedule. All the information is there. Again, very first link in that description below if you want to take your skills to the next level this off-season. Let's get back to this video. Alright guys, so how this video is going to go down is I'm going to give you one of the main reasons that wide receivers will drop passes, and then I'm going to give you a tip, a coaching cue, something to think about that's going to help you avoid that bad habit. So the first reason that wide receivers will drop passes is they will have a way too big of a gap between their hands. So like, let's say you're running over the middle, maybe you're running a slant route, ball is thrown and that ball shoots through the middle of your hands, right? It looks like you don't even get a hand on it. Now, the reason why that happens to a lot of wide receivers is that they do not keep their index and their thumb connected. Now, I'm sure a lot of you have probably heard that phrase before, like, hey, you want to try to keep a diamond, hands in a diamond when you catch, flip your hands when the ball is low. Now, again, like, everybody throws that term around, but what does that exactly mean? A lot of wide receivers are here, they think they're in a diamond, ball shoots through the middle of their hands. So a good coaching cue to think about if that happens to you, keep that thumb and keep that index connected, and they both go to the ball. We never want to throw my hands up and come together when I'm making contact with the ball. You want to keep the thumb and the index connected. It's like a magnet to that ball to avoid that bad habit of too wide of a gap between your hands. Alright guys, so the second reason that I want to talk about why wide receivers will drop the ball is they're trying to get upfield too quick, aka taking their eye off the ball and not looking it all the way in. So again, what's something that you could do to think about this? Because it's very easy for coaches to just sit back and go, hey, make sure you look the ball in, or hey, keep your eye on it. Something you need to think about, something to be able to break that bad habit when you're catching, just simple warming up with the quarterback, going routes versus air. Anytime that you have to think, you have to be going over that in your head. So something that I tell my wide receivers to do to get out of the habit of them peeking upfield when that ball hits their hands is I tell them to verbally call out laces or no laces, whatever they see. So the reason why I have them verbally call it out is it holds them accountable for actually doing the work, right? Because a lot of people will have, like, wide receivers like, hey, focus on the stripe or look at the threads of the ball, but they never hold them accountable for actually doing it. And that's a great way to get you in that habit of looking the ball all the way in. So literally, you're warming up with a partner. When that ball is thrown, if you see this part of the ball, what are you going to call out? No laces. You see the laces, you call out laces, but you have to verbally say it, and you got to hold yourself accountable on every single rep. So that will build that muscle memory of you looking the ball all the way in, making sure we have that photo frame catch, and you will lead to less drop balls because you're taking your eye off it and trying to score too fast. Alright guys, so the next thing that I want to talk about is hand contact, which is the reason that so many wide receivers will drop the ball. So like, let's say, for example, you're keeping your hands in the diamond, you're keeping your thumb, your index connected like we talked about, but when that ball catches it, almost like it bounces off of your hands. Like, you can hear that football make contact with your hands. Now, the term that's thrown around a lot is like, oh, you want to have soft hands, right? Like, what the hell does that even mean for a wide receiver? So soft hands is essentially catching the ball in the webbing of your hand, not letting it hit your palm. And that's why so many wide receivers will push this ball away, push the ball down, and it leads to more drops because their palm is hitting this thing. So you have to try to stay not in your fingertips, because that's how you're going to jam your fingers, but you want to try to stay in the webbing of your hand. And by webbing, I mean like your fingers, not the fingertips, not the palms, that area in between. That's that like soft hand catch that we are looking for. Now, you want to have that because it's easy to receive the ball, so you're not going to push the ball away, you're not going to push the ball down if it's a lower catch. And ultimately, the way to work on this is by your grip strength, right? You can think about not letting it hit your palms, but if you have a weak grip and you have weak finger strength, you're not going to be able to do this effectively. So doing exercises like fingertip push-ups, farmer's carries, plate flips, anything that's going to strengthen your grip will help you get that quote-unquote softer hands and avoid that bounce off your palms, which leads to so many drops. Alright guys, so the next reason that we're going to talk about that wide receivers will drop passes on over-the-shoulder catches because they stick their arms out too early and they're not able to catch up to the ball. So a quarterback's job, especially on like a deep post, a deep fade, he's putting that ball out there with some air, and our job is to go chase it and run it down. So many wide receivers, when that ball is thrown in the air, they'll run and they'll start to show their hands super early. Now, there's two reasons that will lead to a drop. Number one, when you're running with your arms out in front of you, you're obviously going to be slower, right? You want to keep your arms pumping happen until the last possible second. So a good tip or a good coaching cue that I tell my wide receivers is you want to trust your eyes. You see that ball over the shoulder, you should keep your arms pumping and trust your eyes, and you want to try to be as late as possible with your hands. So I'll say late hands, and I say trust your eyes to help with that habit of sticking my arms out. Now, another reason why that's bad and why you want to have late hands is if you got a DB who's right on your hip and that ball is thrown and you're sticking your hands out for a deep ball fade, he knows exactly where to shoot his hands when that ball makes contact or when that thing comes down, and he can time it a little bit easier. Right now, in high school and youth ball, a DB can't run at you with his back turned with his hands up. The NFL he can. College, I actually don't know what the rule is on that in college, but let's say, for example, it's pass interference there. He can still time it when it makes contact with your hands. He knows exactly where to punch that ball out to get that PBU, and that's what DBs work on. So we want to be as late as possible, trust your eyes for as long as possible so that DB has no chance and we could catch up to that deep ball fade. All right, guys, so the next thing that I want to talk about is the body catch. So anytime I talk about catching with the body, you don't want to let the ball bounce off of your chest plate. I'm sure all of you at some point have had a coach say that one time or another. The reason why coaches put such an emphasis on that is because they don't want the ball to bounce off that chest plate with your pads. Now, if any of you, and I'm sure it's all of you, watch football on Sundays. You watch the best guys in the world. You see receivers coming over the middle all the time, catching that ball with their body. And you might ask, like, well, why are they catching that with their body? I've always been taught catch with your hands over and over again. Now, listen. I'm not saying to catch with your body. I'm not saying that's something that you should work on. That's something that you should practice on. However, the reason why those top high-level guys do that, number one, that quarterback is throwing the ball with so much velocity at that level. I don't know how many of you have ever caught for an NFL quarterback or have seen even a Division I college level quarterback throw in person. They throw the ball with a ton of heat. And it doesn't even look like it. Like on TV, it doesn't even look like they're throwing the ball that hard. But if you went out to catch for like a guy like, let's say like Tom Brady, for example, guy doesn't look like he throws darts. It's not like a Mahomes or a Josh Allen where he's just throwing piss missiles over the middle. But if you were catching for him in person, you would see why a lot of those guys catch with their body. Because when you're coming over the middle going full speed, you got defenders trying to take your head off, and that ball's thrown with that kind of velocity, you have to do something to secure it. Now, the other reason that guys will catch with their body is because it's the same concept as that late hands catch over the shoulders. So if you're coming over the middle, and let's say you were throwing a ball that was in front of you, like or on your body, and you show your hands and you catch, all that gives a DB an opportunity to do is rip your arms, hit your arms, and knock the ball out. However, if you're coming over the middle and you catch it with your body like this, you're already tucking the ball. You've already secured the ball. So the only time you see receivers do that is when it's got some heat and when they're in traffic. Now, is this something that I'm going to teach? Am I going to tell you guys, hey, you should catch with your body over the middle? No. I tell all my wide receivers to try to catch with their hands and to focus on having good catching mechanics like that. That's just the reason why you see it. Maybe one day when you get to that level, you can get away with it. Ain't nobody going to say anything because you're an NFL wide receiver, but I don't recommend that younger guys try that. That's just a reason why those guys will catch with their body. Now, younger guys will have drops on this because, like what I said in the beginning of this video, it'll hit their chest plate. So if you do end up catching with your body, you want to try to catch it in that little like soft spot between the chest plate and between your waist. That's a spot where you can just kind of hover on the ball and catch it if you absolutely have to. I'm talking on a diving catch or one that's over the middle, got a lot of velocity, etc. So that's the reason why, that's why you see guys at the next level do it, but that's how you guys can try to avoid that bounce off your chest plate. All right, guys, I really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to leave those in the comment section below. We always appreciate the feedback. It's always great to hear from you guys. And again, fellas, if you're a wide receiver and you would like a daily gym and on-field workout schedule to follow, check out that very first link in the description below. We'd love to get you on that. I'll see you guys next time.